Hey guys, it's Drew here. My Tahoe over here was parked in the driveway, and there's a nice puddle of something underneath there. It's definitely something, if you find on your car, you want to check into it. Just to make sure, I actually moved it to another spot and it's continuing to leak. So there is actually a leak somewhere in my truck. So how do we find out what is leaking on your car? Well, one way to do it is get under your car, but you can take a paper towel and sort of rub it in there. Now, this is definitely an oil. It's not transmission fluid because it's not red. Transmission fluid's red. It's not coolant because it's not green, and it's an oil. So we've narrowed that down. So this is either motor oil. It could also be brake oil, or brake fluid, which is also kind of clear. It could be power steering fluid, and my guess is power steering fluid's the culprit. Power steering fluid's also kind of clear. So you've got brake fluid, power steering fluid. This doesn't look like motor oil to me because I haven't had an oil change in a while. Motor oil is usually going to be a lot darker like that. That's from my other car. But so this is most likely power steering fluid leaking from my car. So I'm going to have to check. You know, that's not something that is essential, but once your power steering goes out, it can be hard to drive. And a power steering pump can be expensive to replace. So if it's just a hose, I just need to replace the hose. If it's the pump itself and there's a seal on the pump, that can be a little more expensive, a little more extensive. But, you know, if you see a puddle under your car, take a chance to look at it and find out what it is. It can save you a lot of money in the long run. And when I say a lot of money, I mean a lot. I mean several $100s, because if you let something go, if you have an oil leak and your car runs out of oil, you ruin your engine, you're going to almost need a new car. I mean, you know, if you ruin an engine, it's not even worth you know, really replacing the engine if it's an older car. So there you have it. If you see something leaking from your car, coolant you can usually smell. It has a strong odor, so you'll know if it's coolant. But the first step also, if you can't find a leak, is to take your car to the car wash if it'll still drive. Check your fluids, obviously. Check your fluids if you're finding that one of those fluids is low. Either, like I'm going to check the power steering fluid in my truck. Take your car to the car wash and get the underside of your car washed. So if there's oil and dirt under there, then you got to get kind of under the car, whether you put the car up on a jack or wherever, and then find that hose that's leaking. 90% of the time it's a hose. If you can't find a hose that's leaking or a drip, then it's usually a gasket or something, or a seal on one of the pumps in your car, which can be a little more tedious and expensive. Okay, so we spent enough time staring at that spot, but there's the PT Cruiser, the Tahoe. We've got a Dodge Avenger there that hasn't run in a very long time. The engine's blown out on that. And my two Mercedes there. So, got quite a few cars to do videos on. All right, guys, this is Drew. If this video helps you, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe. Don't forget to watch some of my puppy videos. There's Stark running around in the yard somewhere. Stark, come here, guy. Stark. There he is. He's getting into mischief, but this is my guy Stark. So I've got some videos of him as a little tiny puppy, and got some video of his mom as a puppy and his dad's puppy. All right, guys, this is Drew. So like I said, if you've got a leak or you notice a leak, it can be hard at times, especially on asphalt. Driveways are